Tonight, the major development in the war in Gaza. Israel's army rescuing 4 hostages, including a woman whose harrowing abduction was seen throughout the world. The hostages, now free after 246 days in captivity, met with cheers as they exited military helicopters. Among them, Noah Argamani, who'd become one of the known faces of the Israeli hostages seen being abducted from a music festival on October 7th, screaming as she was driven off. Now, the emotional reunion with her father and her mother, who's suffering from brain cancer. Israeli forces storming 2 separate locations in central Gaza. The daylight raid leaving a terrible toll. Scores of Palestinians reportedly killed. And late word on the role U.S. intelligence played. President Biden with French President Macron, who called the carnage unacceptable. What the 2 leaders are saying about a possible ceasefire in Gaza and reaffirming support for Ukraine. Marcus Moore reporting from Israel, MaryAlice Park on U.S. involvement, and Mary Bruce traveling with the president. Also tonight, millions at risk with another round of severe weather taking aim at the plains. Plus, unrelenting heat now breaking records in Florida. Our weather team tracking it all. More frightening shark attacks. A woman seriously injured in Hawaii, and the hunt for sharks off the Florida Panhandle after 3 people were bitten. 2 are in critical condition. Breaking news, a crew rescued after a massive ship began taking on water in Lake Superior. New information about a deadly home explosion during a standoff between the homeowner and police, what authorities now say caused the massive blast. No Olympics for Caitlin Clark. The rising WNBA star has reportedly been left off the Team USA roster. And America Strong tonight, the life-changing surprise, a teacher gives a student the ultimate gift.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. As we come on the air tonight, there is renewed joy in Israel. Following the IDF rescue of 4 hostages, the operation and intense air assault taking place in a densely populated area of central Gaza, and it came at a high cost of Palestinian lives. Scores killed, dozens more wounded. The freed hostages include 1 woman and 3 men, all kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. This is video of 26-year-old Noah Argamani as she was taken on that day. It was viewed around the world. After the rescue, Argamani and the others reunited with their loved ones for the first time in 246 days. But in Gaza, the Hamas-run health ministry says women and children are among those killed in the assault. The dead and wounded rushed to hospitals. President Biden monitoring developments from his state visit in France. We have team coverage tonight. Marcus Moore leads us off from Tel Aviv. And a warning, some of these images are disturbing.
Tonight, 4 Israeli hostages are free after deadly daytime raids in Gaza. Those rescued hostages touching down in Israel after 246 days in captivity, waving to cheering crowds, now back with their families and friends. The 4 hostages rescued: Noah Argamani, Almog Meir Yan, Andriy Kozlov, and Shlomi Ziv. 25-year-old Argamani was kidnapped at the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. Video of Argamani being taken away from her boyfriend went viral following the Hamas attack. Later seen in captivity in videos circulating online. But after the IDF operation, Israel releasing this video. Noah stepping onto a helicopter wearing a helmet and bulletproof vest. Sometime later at Sheba Hospital in Tel Aviv, this moment. Noah and her father reunited today on his birthday. A kiss on the cheek and a hug. These emotional reunions, scenes repeated for each family. First the warm embrace and then the tears.
We hugged, and I looked at her, and then we hugged again because I couldn't believe that she's finally here.
President Biden today at a bilateral meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron reacting to the news.
I want to echo President Macron's comments welcoming the safe rescue of 4 hostages that were returned to their families in Israel.
The IDF saying, quote, intelligence-based operations focused on 2 apartment buildings in Nasserat in central Gaza. In one building, Noah Argamani, and the other 3 hostages in another building 600 feet away. The 4 Israelis moved around multiple times, according to the IDF, sometimes through underground tunnels, the doors to each of their rooms locked. The IDF says planning for the joint operation between the IDF, Israeli Security Services, and Israeli police started 2 weeks ago and involved strikes from land, air, and sea. One member of the Israeli rescue team was killed during the operation. But while news of the rescue prompted spontaneous celebrations in the streets of Israel, in Gaza, there was carnage and chaos, and the many dead in the aftermath of Israel's operation, killed and wounded, including children, lying in the streets. The Hamas government media office now says more than 200 people were killed and more than 400 injured during the raids to free those hostages. Israel refuting those numbers, claiming there are fewer than 100 casualties. Hamas calling the operation a massacre, saying the U.S. is, quote, complicit in war crimes committed on the Gaza Strip. The rescue operation comes as negotiations on a potential ceasefire deal appear stalled, while pressure mounts on all sides to secure a ceasefire and bring the hostages home.
Marcus Moore joining us now from Tel Aviv. And Marcus, as Israel celebrates the return of these 4 hostages, what more do we know about the remaining hostages still being held in Gaza?
Well, there have been 2 previous rescues. A total of 7 hostages have been freed in operations by Israel. But right now, there are still 116 hostages being held in Gaza, and 41 of those are believed to be dead. And Whit, just a reminder, the Palestinian death toll tonight is 36,801. Whit.
Truly a staggering toll with this war. Marcus, thank you. And we're learning more about the American role in the operation. Let's bring in ABC's White House correspondent MaryAlice Park. And MaryAlice, we understand that the U.S. provided advice and intelligence support.
Yeah, exactly. We know that the U.S. has had intelligence teams based there in Israel to help with hostage recovery efforts since right after the attack on October 7th. And we are told that those teams helped with this operation, sharing intelligence, sharing expertise. Now, of course, a big part of their focus has been trying to find those 8 Americans that were taken hostage 8 months ago who are still unaccounted for. It was also interesting today. We saw statements from both the Secretary of State as well as the National Security Advisor really emphasizing and pointing back to that ceasefire and hostage deal that is on the table. It has the backing of the U.S., the G7, leading Arab nations, everyone, Whit, hoping that that deal comes to pass.
MaryAlice Parks, thank you. President Biden and French President Macron celebrating the rescue of the Israeli hostages. Macron hosting Biden on a state visit to France. The war in Ukraine also topping the agenda in their meetings. ABC's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce is traveling with the president.
Standing with the leader of America's oldest ally, President Biden in Paris today, pledging to bring home the hostages held by Hamas.
We won't stop working until all the hostages come home and a ceasefire is reached. That is essential to happen.
As bloody conflicts rage in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, the close ties between the U.S. and France on full display. French President Emmanuel Macron welcoming Biden to an official state visit with a ceremony at the Arc de Triomphe and a military parade down the Champs-Élysées. Biden continuing to mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day, arguing protecting democracy is just as vital now as it was then. Now Biden urging allies to come together to defend Ukraine against Russia.
Putin not going to stop at Ukraine. It's not just Ukraine. It's about much more than Ukraine. All of Europe will be threatened. We're not going to let that happen.
Biden and Macron have had their differences, at times backing different approaches to both Ukraine and Gaza. But Biden today stressing the world is a safer place when they work together.
And this week we have showed the world once again the power of allies and what we can achieve when we stand together.
President Biden's travels in France continue tomorrow with a visit to a World War I cemetery outside Paris where American troops are buried. It's notable because back in 2018, then President Trump declined to visit the same cemetery, citing bad weather. But later reports claimed Trump described those buried there as suckers and losers. Trump denies ever saying that, but Biden often repeats the story as an example of the stark differences between them. Whit.
Mary Bruce traveling with the president. Thank you. And tune into This Week tomorrow morning. Martha Raddatz speaks with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan about Israel's hostage rescue mission. Now to another round of severe weather taking aim at the plains as record-breaking heat sweeps across the country. Records expected to fall in Florida this weekend. Temperatures climbing into the upper 90s in some places. Let's bring in ABC News meteorologist Samara Theodore. And Samara, how long is this dangerous heat expected to last?
Well, Whit, this heat will follow us into the upcoming work week. We can already see the triple digits by Monday, hitting places like Las Vegas again, El Paso 100 on Saturday. Orlando, Florida will be near 100 degrees, not only today, but as we head into tomorrow and Monday. You can take a look at the heat index values here, and you see you factor in the humidity, and it feels much hotter, feeling like 102 in Orlando tomorrow afternoon. Meanwhile, we are tracking severe thunderstorm watches for parts of Kansas, Colorado, and even into Missouri and Arkansas. The biggest threat with these is damaging winds, large hail, and the threat for isolated tornadoes. We're also monitoring the threat for flash flooding, especially in places like Springfield, Missouri, where they could see 3 inches of rain in a small amount of time. Whit?
All right, Samara, we know you'll be tracking it tomorrow on GMA as well. Thanks so much. We turn now to Hawaii, and the 25-year-old woman rushed to the hospital in serious condition, apparently attacked by a shark on Oahu's North Shore. Authorities also on alert along Florida's Gulf Coast. 3 people hurt there on Friday, 2 critically, and 2 different shark-related incidents. ABC's Christiane Cordero is in Oahu.
Tonight, another frightening shark attack. Officials in Hawaii say a 25-year-old woman is in serious condition after she was bitten off Oahu's North Shore. The attack occurred near a small boat harbor known as a popular destination for shark tours. It happened the same day as 2 other shark attacks in Walton County, Florida, that left 3 people injured, 2 critically. Those beaches are now open again. Walton County safety officials say a shark bit a 45-year-old woman swimming in Watersound Beach, the attack leaving her with significant trauma, including an amputated arm, witnesses rushing to her aid. The victim currently in critical condition, a beachgoer capturing the horrifying moments after the attack, the shark still lurking dangerously close to the shore. Then just 90 minutes later and 4 miles away, another terrifying incident, a 15 and a 17-year-old attacked by a shark while in waist-deep water. One remains in critical condition, the other with injuries to her foot.
This is an anomaly. Everything from it being 3 victims to where it's at. All we can do is respond, control what we control, mitigate what we can.
These attacks are in addition to an incident earlier this week in California and last week in Texas, and come as Americans flock to the beaches for the start of summer. Last year, according to the Florida Museum, which tracks these things, there were a total of 69 confirmed unprovoked shark attack cases, in line with the most recent 5-year average of 63 incidents annually. Whit?
All right, Christiane, thank you. New details tonight in a deadly home explosion in Arlington, Virginia. Authorities now releasing dash cam video of the moment the house exploded during a standoff between the homeowner and law enforcement. And tonight, what investigators say caused the massive blast. Here's ABC's Perry Russell.
It was the dramatic home explosion that rocked a neighborhood miles outside Washington, D.C. Tonight, new video showing the heart-stopping moments. This police officer running for cover as debris rockets toward him. Investigators now saying the blast from December was intentionally set.
Mr. Yu!
Officers confronting James Yu in an hours-long standoff. Yu barricading himself inside after firing dozens of flares from a window. Police breaching the front door. Seconds later, gunshots heard from inside. 10 minutes later, that explosion. Police say Yu, who posted hundreds of pages of conspiracy theories online, exploded his own house using 35 gallons of gasoline.
And Whit, police say they found 2 shotguns, a handgun, and 2 flare guns in the rubble of the house. Investigators say they believe he lit the gas on fire in his basement. Whit?
Perry Russell for us tonight. Thank you. Federal officials are investigating a plane crash in Washington state that claimed the life of a famed Apollo astronaut, Bill Anders, who circled the moon aboard Apollo 8, snapping this iconic Earthrise photo as the command module emerged from the dark side of the moon. Tonight, what we're learning about the deadly plane crash and the tributes pouring in. Here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
Apollo 8 astronaut William Anders remembered for this moment marked in history.
Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, isn't that pretty?
Capturing this iconic photo, the first time humans reached the moon.
We went to the moon to explore the moon. What we really did was just discover the Earth.
Authorities say Anders was alone, piloting a single-engine vintage plane. The FAA and NTSB investigating how that plane crashed off the waters of Jones Island, Washington, claiming the astronaut's life Friday. Friends and colleagues remembering the space pioneer.
He was special, and I knew it from the beginning that he was going to do something.
Apollo flight controller Jerry Griffin flew with Anders when they were both young pilots. Considered a visionary with the heart of an adventurer, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson writing, "They will miss a great hero." Bill Anders gave to humanity among the deepest of gifts an explorer and an astronaut can give, the Earthrise. Where Bill Anders is survived by his wife Valerie, 4 sons, and 2 daughters. He was 90.
What a legacy. A sad loss tonight. Melissa, thank you. The Coast Guard is responding to a massive ship that's taking on water in Lake Superior. According to the Coast Guard, the 689-foot-long bulk carrier began experiencing problems earlier today. Half of the 22-person crew was taken off the ship for safety reasons. The ship will undergo an inspection and repairs at a nearby port. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday, including what a major retailer is now doing to try to stop shoplifters. And a decision that may surprise a lot of basketball fans. Caitlin Clark reportedly left off the Olympic team. Next tonight, retail giant TJX has had it with shoplifting. It says it's now handing out police-style body cameras to workers in some of its stores. The company, which operates TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods, says the cameras are being used to deter crime and ensure the safety of employees and customers. They're only in use in select stores and worn by employees who've been trained. An update now on Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman B.J. Thompson. His agent says Thompson is awake and responsive after suffering a seizure and going into cardiac arrest during a team workout on Thursday. Members of the Chiefs staff say they performed CPR and used a defibrillator before Thompson was rushed to a hospital. Thompson appeared in one game with the Super Bowl champions last season. When we come back, the battle over ice cream heats up. A lawsuit now over an alleged missing ingredient. To the Index now, Caitlin Clark's many fans may be disappointed to hear that she will not be headed to the Paris Olympics. ESPN and other outlets are reporting Clark has been left off Team USA despite drawing millions of new fans to women's basketball during her college career and now in the WNBA. ESPN says the team will be led by Diana Taurasi, going for her 6th gold medal, as well as Brittany Griner. Next here, the scoop on an unusual lawsuit. A federal judge in New York has given the go-ahead for a class action lawsuit against Stone Creamery for allegedly serving pistachio ice cream that does not contain pistachios. The lawsuit accuses Cold Stone of deceptive practices. Cold Stone has not commented, but in court papers, the company says it offers a detailed list of ingredients online. When we come back tonight, America Strong, a teacher's selfless act outside the classroom. Finally tonight, America Strong, the teacher who went above and beyond.
A life-changing knock at the door.
She's a perfect match. Are you serious?
Preschool teacher Carissa Fisher surprising the Tozek family from upstate New York.
Miss Carissa has a liver for you. I'm going to share my liver with you, buddy.
Offering to be a liver donor for her former student, 5-year-old Ezra, now living with end-stage liver disease. Doctors determined he needed a transplant. When Fisher learned of his condition on Facebook, she put in an application. The Tozeks had no idea.
I can't sit there and watch a 5-year-old just not be able to do 5-year-old things.
After extensive testing, she got the call, a perfect match.
The odds of being that good of a match are slim to none.
All leading to this surprise moment. Fisher with balloons, a stuffed bear, and a sign. Hey, Ezra, would you like to share my liver?
Are you going to say yes?
Ezra checking yes, making it official.
You got it?
His mom, Karen, overwhelmed.
I really struggled to wrap my head around that in that moment, just that this is really happening.
I just hope he lives a long, happy, healthy life, that I get to see him grow up.
That she's willing to do it with no hesitation, and it's pretty incredible. Hopefully that inspires other people.
What a remarkable gift. Thanks so much for watching tonight. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.